Looks like I am live. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Tammy and I am live. Let me share these things out to my community. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join me here live. I am super, super grateful for you joining me. So let me, like I said, share this thing out to my groups. It doesn't take 25 years to do that. All right. Okie dokie. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Those of you that are on YouTube, if you are subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are not subscribed, why not? Smash the subscribe button and make sure that you hit the bell so that you will be notified when I post new content or I come live like I am now. So I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for joining me, those of you that are hanging out with me on Facebook as well. I am reading from Psychic Perceptions, which is Dr. Joseph Murphy's amazing book. We are starting on chapter 11. We started on chapter 10 on yesterday. And so today we're doing chapter 11. And my apologies for coming so late, but you know what? It's here. If you want to catch it, there's always the replay because I don't know about anybody else, but I love replays because sometimes I'm just not in the place, where I can listen at the time. It's sometimes it's a physical place, sometimes it's a mental place, a spiritual place. Sometimes I'm just not there. So replays are amazing. So those of you that catch the replay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you let me know, hashtag replay in the comments, and let me know where you're watching from because I am so interested in that because so many of us are watching from so many places that, I always want to know where are people watching from. So I'm going to first invite you, if you're watching me and you don't know me, I am an angel intuitive. Um, and I have a healing activation that is happening on Wednesday, August 31st at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And it's going to be just a time of healing and activation. So join me for that. If that's something you're looking for, I'm going to speak to many things that people have shared with me that they want healing for. I'm going to speak to those things, offer healing in those areas if you are available for it. And also, if you sign up and you're not able to be there live, there's always replay. You'll always get the replay. The replays will get sent out after the live. So that's something that you're interested in. The link on Facebook is in the description of the video. I will probably also put it in the comments when we're done. On YouTube, it will be in the comments after I'm done. So if that's something that is interesting to you, that you are looking for, look no further. Come and get a healing. Now, I had a resident thinking about work. I had a client that I work with that she just came to me for a reading. I do readings in a metaphysical shop locally where I live, and she came to me for a reading, and she was so depressed, and she really didn't even know what she wanted. That was the thing. And so I worked with her, and spirit actually had me guide her so gently, and I held space for her so that she could come to the conclusion and co-create the healing for herself. And so I was there for her, and I was with her in that space, and I was able to help her, and I actually witnessed the spirit of depression lift off of her. And so that is something that I love to do, because I love seeing people when they get free, when they transition out of all of that and they get free from depression and anxiety and all these things that will hold you back and block you and keep you stuck in a limited space. So that is me. That is some things that I do. And today I'm going to read from Dr. Joseph Murphy's book, Psychic Perceptions. Thank you so much for watching Chapter 11, Dynamic Power. If you have not seen the other chapters, then you can go back and watch them. Most of them are either, they're all on my Facebook page, but some are actually also on YouTube, because I've been recording on both, in both spaces at the same time. So some of them are on YouTube as well. So if you can't find them on Facebook, go on my YouTube channel, and make sure while you're there to subscribe and hit the button, hit the bell, so that you get notified when I pop back on with more content. Because I am so super excited about the content that I'm sharing now, and some of the content that I will be sharing, because I am just in this space of helping people to truly heal. I really desire that. That is one of the things that I desire above all else, to help people to heal, and to do it in a way that feels good to you. So, Chapter 11, Psychic Perceptions, Dynamic Power of Psychic Thought. The Bible says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, subconscious mind, so is he." Proverbs 27 and 23 and 7. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1 and 1. Your word is a thought expressed, and the Bible says the Word was God, meaning your thought is creative, for there is only creative power, spirit, and the function of spirit is thought. It is best you have a healthy regard and respect for your thought. The degree of your happiness, peace, prosperity, and success is determined by your habitual thinking. Your subconscious mind is constantly reproducing your conscious mind's thinking and imagery. Thoughts are things, and your thought has its own mathematics and mechanics of expression. When you reflect on thought, you are releasing the creative power of God or infinite intelligence into action. Emerson said, "Man is what he thinks all day long." How he proved the power of thought. Dr. Arthur Thomas, minister of the Church of the Religious Science in Reno, Nevada, gave me permission to write this about him. Arthur had been a lieutenant in the British Navy at one time, and more recently had been in the wholesale business as well as in real estate in Los Angeles. About 8 years ago, however, he started attending my lectures on Sunday mornings. He said, "I realized suddenly my thought was the only creative power of which I was aware, and I was going to create what I really wanted." Consequently, he began to affirm to himself frequently, "I am a minister now, and I am teaching the truths of life to people." Every night he would imagine he was expatiating on the great truths to a wonderful group of men and women in a church. He continued to think along these lines for a month or so when he decided to take the ministerial course at the Institute of Religious Science, confident of the end result, as he had already imagined and felt as true the reality of creative thinking. He passed all tests and examinations in divine order and was offered the church immediately after finishing his seminary course, what we used to refer to it as the cemetery course. He is now doing exactly what he decreed mentally. He knew that his subconscious mind would respond mathematically and accurately according to his thinking process. Get acquainted with the most powerful force in the universe. Thought is the most powerful force in the universe. Your word is a thought expressed. If you are in a position of authority, your thought or word can direct how missiles, nuclear energy, dynamite, or thermonuclear weapons are to be used. Your thought determines how electricity is to be used. Likewise, your thoughts direct the action, the operation of your life. Your subconscious mind could be likened to an iceberg. 90% of it is below the surface. It is your subconscious mind that does the work according to the orders given it by your conscious mind. What you think, your conscious mind, what you think with your conscious mind, you produce with your subconscious. Sorry about that. She discovered in the wonders of right thinking. Dr. Elsie McCoy of Beverly Hills, who has given me permission to write on the following events, shows clearly what constructive thinking according to principle will accomplish. She has studied extensively in Europe and Asia, and in her early days was engaged to a prominent surgeon. They were separated by over 1,000 miles. However, due to their different assignments, ever since she was 18 years of age, she has made it a habit to affirm frequently during the day. Only divine right action takes place in my life, and whatever I need to know is revealed to me instantly by the infinite intelligence within me. Her gradual reiteration of these truths caused them to reach the subconscious mind, which responded accordingly. One night, while she was sound asleep, she saw and heard clearly in a vivid dream her fiance in Chicago talking to a nurse, and in addition, dating her for a weekend, saying to her, "You know I'm engaged," but she is 1,000 miles away and knows nothing about it. Dr. McCoy phoned him the next day and told him about the silly and foolish dream she had and laughed about it. He was furious and accused her of having employed detectives and of spying upon him. With that, she dissolved the engagement, and subsequent events showed the wisdom of her subconscious in protecting her from what would undoubtedly have been a tragic marriage. Now, I have to commentate on this really quickly because the same type of thing happened to me with my ex-husband. He was a cheater and he was cheating. And so I actually, the Holy Spirit showed me him, where he was at and all of that kind of stuff. And so when he came home, I told him where he was. And he didn't accuse me of having detectives. He accused me of putting roots on him. So, so that was his mindset. But it was nothing but just the Holy Spirit showing me because I asked. Her right thinking activated her subconscious mind, which revealed to her what she should know before she got married. A famous actor gets an amazing answer through the subconscious of another. Dr. Olive Gaze, an associate of mine, authorized me to write about the remarkable way the subconscious mind of her mother, Josephine Wyndham, responded to the questions propounded to her by the late Norman Trevor, a distinguished actor. Dr. Gaze said that he had a perplexing problem and asked her mother if she could reveal the answer to him. Joseph Wyndham was highly intuitive. She began to think. Josephine Wyndham was highly intuitive. She began to think quietly and feelingly for a few minutes. Right answer. Her subconscious took over and controlled her right hand. She began to write, completing about 2 pages. When she looked at it, she could not read a word of her own writing. Neither could her daughter, the present Dr. Olive Gaze. She gave the written material to Norman Trevor, and he read it with ease and alacrity. It was written in Hindustani, which he understood perfectly, having lived in India for many years. The message was a full and complete answer to his perplexing problem. They were all amazed at the wonders of right thinking and the response of the subconscious mind. My explanation of this is that Josephine Wyndham, being very intuitive, got into a very relaxed, quiet, passive, psychic, receptive state of mind, which brings about an outcropping of the subconscious and a partial submergence of the conscious mind. In this state, she was in rapport with his subconscious mind, and she tapped, woo, the contents of his subconscious, including the language of Hindustani. Since the nature of the subconscious is compulsive, it took control of her hand and wrote in a language in a way which would be convincing, which he would believe. The ways of the subconscious are past understanding. How she activated her subconscious mind. Ms. Louise Barrows told me that on New Year's Eve, 1970, one of the requests she turned over to her subconscious mind was that she would take a trip to Europe with her two teenage boys in divine order. She wrote it as follows: My two boys and I are going to Europe in July this summer, 1970, in divine order. I accept this idea now in my conscious mind, and my subconscious brings it to pass. In February of 1970, a close relative asked her if she would like to take a European holiday to Switzerland, Germany, Italy, etc., with her two sons, and she accepted. All expenses of the trip had already been paid to the travel agency by her relative. Her subconscious mind knew how to bring it to pass, and it acted on the mind of the wealthy relative, compelling him to make the offer. In other words, he was the instrument through which the money and the facilities manifested. Her spiritual thinking was a command to her subconscious to bring her request to pass. How to think, pray successfully. Your thoughts is your prayer. When your conscious mind deliberately accepts a creative idea or plan and turns it over to the subconscious with confidence, the intelligence of your subconscious brings it to pass in your experience. Your subconscious mind acts as a law and produces with mathematical exactitude the equivalent of your idea in your experience. Right thinking enables her to lose 40 pounds. A young lady wrote me from Wichita, Kansas, saying that she had been reading The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. This is another book that Dr. Joseph Murphy wrote. Matter of fact, it was one of the first books that I read of his, which was amazing, and decided to follow her doctor's instructions and lose 40 pounds. She stated that she had gone on many diet regimens and took off weight only to put it on again. However, following the advice given in the book, prior to sleep every night, she began to think right and to convey the right command to her subconscious mind. Her right thinking was as follows: I weigh 118 pounds in divine order. The infinite intelligence, excuse me, of my subconscious mind accepts the request and acts accordingly. I sleep in peace and divine right action governs me. After a week or so, she discovered that she had lost all desire for the amylaceous foods and fatty substances which she previously craved and thus had no trouble losing the required weight. Before this, she had been forcing herself to follow the strict diet while at the same time lusting after ice cream, apple pie, and assorted sweets. Anyone who says I can't lose weight is actually saying I don't want to lose weight. All you have to do is come to a clear cut decision in your conscious mind, and your subconscious will do the rest. You will discover you will lose all desire for those foods that contribute to your obesity. You are the only thinker in your universe. Now I have to speak on that too. That is so real because for me, I've been battling sugar for a minute. And anybody that knows me knows I love my sweet tea and I love sweet stuff. And so I think it makes me sweet. So it's one of the things that I have been asking for help with. Spirit. And I started with just, doing less, doing less. And so I've been on that path. And so it's really helping me in that way because it was a stronghold that I had because I just love sweet stuff. I'm from the South. We eat sweet things. We love sweet tea, and so but I know that it's not as healthy as it needs to be for me as I get older. So now here I am, at the space where, I'm doing less and less. And I'm so excited about that because it was almost something that I was fighting. But now I know, once you make those suggestions to your subconscious and you follow through, it helps you so much. So now back to you are the only thinker in your universe. You have the privilege of selecting any constructive idea, nourish it and sustain it, knowing that there is a response from your subconscious mind. The wisdom of your subconscious will work out the idea which you have selected in its own unique way. The power of thought on your body. You have observed the effect of fear on your pulse, heartbeat, etc. Shame brings a flush to the cheek, and anger and rage blanch the skin. The hair of many young men has turned white when they were exposed to a harrowing experience. News of a sudden death of a loved one has brought us on psychological blindness and deafness. Worry interferes with digestion, and many bring on ulcers, colitis, and other malfunctions and diseases. Our newspapers and periodicals are pointing out daily ravages of hate, envy, jealousy, and strain on the body, such as anemia, high blood pressure, cardiac disorders, and even cancer. I'm going to say that again. Our newspapers and periodicals, and now for us, it would be the internet, are pointing out daily the ravages of hate, envy, jealousy, and strain on the body, such as anemia, high blood pressure, cardiac disorders, and even cancer. Begin to use the creative power wisely. Your consciousness is the only creative power in your life. Your consciousness represents what you think, feel, believe, and give mental consent to. This is the cause of all your experiences, conditions, circumstances, and events in your life. Do not make the external world a cause, it is an effect. Refuse definitely, positively, and absolutely to give power to externals such as the winds, waves, weather, sun, snow, stars, or any created thing. The scientific thinker never makes an effect a cause. Therefore, he is no longer hypnotized by the world and its beliefs. The creator is greater than his creation. The thinker is greater than his thoughts, and the artist is greater than his art. Think good and good follows. Think negatively and negation follows. He asked the real meaning of thought and thinking. At a lecture I held last year in Las Vegas, a man asked the question, what is thought and thinking, and what is new about it? I explained to him that thinking means comparing, i.e., comparing one thing with another, one proposition with another. If the mental instrument can say only yes, comparison is not possible. You have a choice between two things. To one of them, you say yes, and to the other, no. When you ask why, you are seeking that reason. All reasoning involves selecting this and rejecting that, and it would be impossible to select or reject unless your mind has the power of affirmation and rejection. Most people don't really think. We are thinking when our minds are dedicated to the eternal truths of God, when we reject all fear and contemplate the reality of our desire, knowing there is an almighty power which responds to our thinking and which will bring it to pass. You are truly thinking when you reason things out in your mind, rejecting all negative concepts as unfit for the house of God, and feasting on the reality of the divine solution while knowing that a subjective wisdom responds to your creative thoughts when you are free from fear. This seemed to satisfy him, and he said, I never knew what thought was until now. Man is mine, and evermore he takes the tool of thought and bring forth 1,000 joys or 1,000 ills. Points to remember. Your psychic thought is creative. When you think the thought, you release. When you think the thought, you release the latent power within you. Every thought tends to manifest itself. By reiterating a certain thought pattern in your conscious mind, your subconscious receives it and decides in its own way how to bring it to pass. Your mental image is a thought pattern in your mind, and by regularly and systematically imagining yourself doing what you love to do, your subconscious develops that mental image in the dark house of your mind and brings it to pass. Your thought is the most powerful force in the world. A word is a thought expressed. Therefore, man can determine how atomic, nuclear, and electrical energies and powers are to be used. Man is the master and is in control. He must decide how he is going to use the powers available to him. When you affirm, whatever I need to know is revealed to me instantly, your psychic mind will protect you from making errors or mistakes. Whatever I need to know is revealed to me instantly. A young doctor who impregnated her subconscious mind with this truth saw in a dream her fiance's relationship with another woman. She canceled the proposed marriage and discovered she was divinely protected from making a tragic mistake. There are many gifted people called psychic automatists. I've not seen that word before, but okay. Psychic automatists. Let's see. A mother of two teenage boys wrote out a request on New Year's Eve that psychic intelligence would reveal the perfect way for her to take her two sons to Europe during July. A wealthy relative voluntarily paid all expenses for an extended vacation for all of them in Europe. Your thoughts of fear, worry, anxiety, and anger are quite noticeable in your face, eyes, pulse, blood pressure, or the blanching of your skin. Worry, hate, jealousy, and hostility are behind a host of maladies. Your psychic thought is creative. Consciousness is the only creative power. Your consciousness means the way you think, feel, believe, and what you give mental consent to. Think good, and good follows through your psychic perception. To think is to compare, i.e., to choose one thing in preference to another. Your mental instrument can say yes or no. Your mind has the power of affirmation and rejection. You are truly thinking when your thoughts conform to the eternal verities. Emerson said, "You are what you think all day long." So, tomorrow, I will read chapter 12, how to use secrets of extrasensory perception in solving problems. I am so excited, y'all. This has been such a blast. I have loved to read this chapter 12. And let's see, it's called How to Use Secrets of Extrasensory Perception for Solving Problems. That I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get into reading that tomorrow because that is so amazing to me. I to me is a template for helping you to learn how to live your life, using your intuition and your psychic gifts, because we all have them. We all have psychic gifts. All of us, every single one of us, regardless of what you believe, you have gifts. God has blessed each and every one of us with these gifts. So, again, thank you so much for joining me. This was Tammy, and I was reading Psychic Perceptions by Dr. Joseph Murphy. If you love all things energy, make sure that you are following me. And if you are a female looking for a group, I have a group called Heal Her. And I'm going to drop the link to the comments there as well. Because I know that many times people are looking for community in places that, oh my goodness gracious, gee, Manele. Okay, let me. I'm going to try to, okay, there it is. I was going to say, I know. Okay, so let me drop it in the comments. All right, so it is, the link for the group is in the comments. Please make sure that if this content is something that you are loving, then join me in my group Heal Her, where we're going to be doing healing and activations. My goal is to do that weekly, and then also, if you are desiring to have a personal healing session with me, make sure that you send me a private message or comment heal below. That works as well, because I actually am loving doing those. So if that is something that you are looking for and you feel called, make sure that you reach out to me, send me a message. I also have a program, 6 Weeks to Limitless, that I'm filling as we speak, and I'm super excited for that. And then there's also a masterclass that is happening on August 31st at 5 p.m. So join me there. The link for that, to sign up for that, is in the description of the video. So it'll be probably above it, I guess. So again, thank you so much for watching. I love all of this. I love reading these books. I love talking to all of you. It's just amazing. And just being able to show up and, be who I am. Be who I am. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been a blast. I love all of you. Bye now.